Welcome to the deep dive. We take source materials, break them down, and we'll get right to the core meaning for you. Today, we're immersing ourselves in just one text, but it's a really dense one. It's called The Edge of Two Worlds, a Duality. And our mission here is basically to map out what this means. We're looking at transition, at this central figure the source describes someone or something that exists right where two opposing realities meet. We need to figure out the fear, the comfort, and the truth packed into this symbol.
Right, and the title gives it away immediately, doesn't it? The Edge of Two Worlds. The text describes it simply as, and I'm quoting here, a place where two realms meet. So straight away, we know we're talking about boundaries, transitions, that classic liminal space idea.
Yeah, that in-between zone, not quite where you were, not yet where you're going.
Exactly.
And that state, well, it can be terrifying, can it? Being adrift like that, no certainty. The source doesn't really shy away from that feeling either. It jumps from the abstract idea of an edge right into this really visceral figure, and we have to face the tough part first.
We absolutely do. The figure is immediately linked to that core human dread, mortality. The sources are blunt. They call this entity the face of death.
Wow.
Yeah, no messing around. This figure is presented as the personification of what we fear. It's like looking directly at the thing we try hardest not to think about.
And it's not just symbolic fear, is it? The sources seem to root it in something tangible, something painful. They mention the burden of fear.
That's right. And they explicitly state, quote, the pain of death is there. It's heavy. It's a direct acknowledgement of suffering.
Okay, so it's not just an abstract concept of fear, but actual pain being present at this edge.
Precisely. And that weight, that grounding in real pain, is critical, I think. It stops the whole thing from being just, a metaphor. By stating the pain of death is there, the text insists that standing at this edge involves confronting genuine loss, real suffering. It makes the transition point feel incredibly real and maybe even dangerous.
I have to ask, though, if the end goal involves comfort and guidance, why lean so hard into the pain right at the start? Doesn't calling it the face of death kind of undermine any later promise of protection? It seems contradictory.
Well, that's the crux of it, isn't it? That's the tension. The source seems to suggest that the duality is the truth. It's not something you resolve by picking a side. The implication is, maybe, you can't truly grasp safety unless you first acknowledge how real the danger is. So the figure has to embody fear first. That way, when the protection aspect comes in, it's not just, naive reassurance. It's comfort earned right there in the face of the danger.
Okay. That makes sense structurally. The fear isn't just step one, it actually gives meaning to step two. It justifies the comfort that follows, which leads us right into that unexpected twist, the other side of the coin.
Exactly, the reversal. Just when you think it's all about dread, the perspective shifts completely. This very same entity, the face of death, is simultaneously presented as a source of profound relief. We get the bees of protection. And the text describes it very simply, very tangibly. He is there, a comfort. Suddenly, you're not alone in facing the fear. There's presence.
That's quite a paradox. The thing you fear most is also right there with you, providing comfort. How does the source describe that protection? Is it passive, just being there, or is it more active?
It seems active. It goes beyond just presence. The figure is also called the embrace of comfort and explicitly defined as a protector. That word protector suggests guardianship, shielding, like you need someone strong beside you at that edge, and the source says this figure is that ally.
The face of death is your protector. That's quite something.
It is. And think about the closeness implied. For comfort to happen right alongside the face of death, you, the traveler, must be incredibly close to both the dread and the reassurance. The comfort isn't far off. It's right there enveloping you.
Okay, so we've got the fear, the pain, but also this immediate protective comfort. But then there's another layer, right? It's not just about feeling safe.
Right. It moves beyond passive comfort or even just guarding.
The figure becomes directional. It's called the gentle guide.
Yes. And the specific instruction is key. The traveler must hear his words.
So it's not just about feeling, it's about listening. It shifts from acceptance to active instruction.
Definitely. And that role, the guide, elevates the figure. It's not just managing your feelings, it's showing you the path. When the text talks about the journey forward, it states very clearly, he is the way.
He is the way. So the path forward is this entity that embodies both the terror and the comfort.
Think about what that means. You can't bypass the fear. You can't ignore the face of death. You actually have to listen to the thing you dread, because only that entity holds the knowledge, the words needed to get across the edge successfully.
Okay, so we've arrived at this synthesis. Fear and protection aren't just side by side, they're integrated in one being, and both are needed for the journey. How does the text wrap this up? How does it explain this balance without one side just canceling the other out?
It insists on equilibrium. The core function is explicitly called a balance of power. This figure isn't about choosing fear or love, it's about bridging them. Its job is to balance fear and love. It's like dynamic stability.
Dynamic stability, I like that, because if it were only love, maybe you wouldn't feel the need to move forward, right?
Possibly.
And if it were only fear, you'd just be paralyzed at the edge. So the balance itself must be what creates the possibility of movement.
Exactly, like walking a tightrope,
Yeah.
The opposing forces, gravity pulling down, your effort pushing up, they don't vanish. It's their constant opposition held in balance that creates the stable path. This figure holds the tension between fear and love, and that very tension becomes the steady path needed for the transition. And the result of this perfectly held balance, that's where hope comes in. The text identifies this dual entity as a symbol of hope. And why? Because he makes a promise.
A promise. So the hope isn't just wishful thinking. It's grounded in the fact that this figure can maintain that balance.
That seems to be the idea. The hope is guaranteed because the balance holds.
So the promise isn't necessarily about avoiding death or pain, but about the journey itself being possible, being meaningful, having a direction. We've really traced a structure here. Two opposing realms meet. There's an edge. That tension is embodied and managed by one figure who uses both fear and love.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneously, yes. To create not just stability, but direction and a promise.
And the sources kind of bring it all together with a final, powerful statement. This whole concept, this figure, this balance, is defined as an enduring power. It endures precisely because it doesn't try to eliminate one side of the duality. It embraces both.
Yeah.
It's the reality at that threshold. And the very last line just sums it all up. A duality, the balance, the truth.
Wow. Okay. So that's the map we set out to find. We defined the edge, faced the fear, the face of death, but found the embrace of comfort and the gentle guide within the same entity. And the ultimate truth extracted seems to be that real enduring power, maybe even hope itself, is found in actively holding that balance between dread and protection.
Which leaves you, the listener, with something to think about. If this source is right, if real hope and stability only emerge when we manage this intense balance, when we can look into the face of death and feel the embrace of comfort at the same time, well, what essential truth about finding our own stability might we only discover when we're willing to stand right at the very edge of terror?